Hello and welcome. I'm continuing my regular series of financial modeling basics through the medium of the Financial Modeling World Cup Championship ModelOff past questions. We're just at the end of round one of 2016. My schedule is a bit thrown off at the moment because I tried this one, I don't know, a few days ago, and I messed something up and it spent like a bunch of time flapping around trying to find what had gone wrong in a way that I did not think would make for a very educational video, even though I do sometimes leave in the debugging because that's part of life. But beyond a certain point, it's not helpful anymore. So I'm going to try this one again. You're going to get a slightly more slapdash version of it because it doesn't bring me any great joy to solve the same question twice in a row. So that's what it is. Okay, so we're working for a real estate company. They're going to build 1,600 houses over a 4-year period and then sell them all. So we're modeling quarterly from 2017 to 2020. 4 different types of houses. For each one, we have a size, a construction cost in dollars per square meter, and a sale price. We have a schedule of construction, and all associated construction costs are paid in the quarter they're constructed. A schedule of sales, all associated revenue is received in the quarter it's sold, and then other costs all on a fixed schedule. So in other words, a super simple model to get us down to operating cash flow, and then where the main kind of meat of it is the equity and debt financing. So baseline assumption is you get $40 million of equity financing, 10 million a quarter for the first year, and then there's an alternate scenario where you draw the equity as a percentage of the funding needed in any given quarter until the 40 million is used up. Then debt. So we've got a 7% interest rate based on days in the quarter over days in the calendar year. Arranging fee of $5 million, and then later we're going to change it to be an arranging fee of 2% of the maximum facility size. And so just to be clear, and this is the reason this case is called going around in circles is because it's a circular logic. The maximum facility size is going to be the largest quarterly closing balance, but we're borrowing to fund costs, including the arrangement fee, including the commitment fee, and other things. And so those costs drive the largest quarterly balance. That quarterly balance drives those costs, so it's circular, and we need to use iterative calculations, which are the devil, and I've made other videos about that, but we won't go into that because sometimes you just have to use them. Okay, so we've got an arrangement fee, and then we've got a commitment fee for some questions, again based on days in the quarter over days in the calendar year. You pay a certain percent of the undrawn facility, which a little weirdly you keep paying even after the facility is fully repaid, but go figure. Okay, so all right, so there's just some clarification stuff. In any given quarter, you'll have some or all of the following: operating cash flow, positive or negative; arranging fees, negative cash flow; commitment fees, negative cash flow; and interest, negative cash flow. You add up all of those to get your total cash flow, and then that, if it's negative, that shortfall has to be financed through equity or debt, and if it's positive, you use it to pay down the debt until the debt is gone, and then you distribute it to shareholders. You'll be required to calculate. Yeah, that's just clarifying something I think I already explained. Okay, so here's what we have in the model, just all those same assumptions written back out again. Now, the first time I did this, I did a kind of proper, scenario table for the many different, switch this on and off, switch this on and off, change this and that. Like I said, you're getting something more slapdash today because I don't have the energy to do that twice. But if you want to know how to do that, a bunch of my other past videos show how to do that. So instead, we're just going to have some switches, equity draw type, number, and we'll just make that 1 or 0, and we'll say 1 equals fixed, 2 equals percent. Then we also need a switch for the arrangement fee, or no, arranging fee they call it, fee type. And again, actually we can copy this exact thing because it is 1 for a fixed arrangement fee and 2 for a percent of the facility. Okay, so let's quickly knock up our operating model. So first, I'm just going to make that whole column bold. We want revenue by type. So these are the sales, and we multiply that by the sale price. That's it, super simple. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to put that there. I meant to put that there and put the types here. Here's my 4 categories. So we do our first sale in quarter ending 30th September 2018. Yes. Why am I missing labels here? Huh? Weird. Anyway, okay. So then I'm just going to make that and a bunch of rows below it be 2 decimal place format, or sorry, 0 decimal place format. And I'm also going to hide all the columns after that because that makes it easier. Okay, so that's the revenue, construction costs by type. And again, just link to the list of types. If I was going to use this more than these 2 times, I would make that list of types a name, but I'm not. That's it. I'm finished using it now. So we take again this block, multiply it by construction cost per square meter, multiply it by the square meters. And we get this. We don't need to lock anything because it's just one formula. And then we have other costs, which is these. And here we can just link, except that these are in millions of dollars, so we're going to multiply by 10 to the 6 because I built my model in dollars, not millions of dollars. So then operating cash flow is just going to be the sum of the income minus the sum of the costs. Copy across, happy days. Okay. Then we've got equity. No, let's do the debt. So we'll have opening, drawdown / repayment, closing, and we'll have our interest, arranging fee, commitment fee, and then we'll have total cash flows pre, I don't know what to call that, up CF plus interest fees. I'm sure there's a proper category name for that, but I can't think of it. So then we'll have to / from equity, and we'll have to / from debt. Okay, so debt opening balance starts off at 0. I'm going to make that red so I don't copy it across. So just fill in the plumbing there, and for the time being, let's just put in some debt being drawn so that I can see that interest and things are working. For the interest and commitment fee, I need the percent of the year. So I guess let's be more formal. Days in quarter, days in year, percent of year. So days in quarter is just going to be this quarter end date minus the previous quarter end date. And days in the year, a couple of different ways you can do this. I'm going to go with date of year of this, comma 12/31, so December 31 of that year, minus exactly the same thing for the previous year. Don't subtract off the 1st of January because then you'll be off by 1. Sorry, you're -1 out here. No? Oh, sorry, I've done too many closing brackets. Okay. So 365 days there, but we should have 1, yes, over here, 366. Cool. And then percent of year is just going to be that over that. Percent, 2 decimal places, copy across, adds up to 400, all good. Okay, so the interest then is going to link in helper cell here, I guess. It's going to be that, and the commitment fee is going to be that. And for the arranging fee, I'm going to link in 2 cells. I'll link in the percentage, and I'm going to link in the actual number, and then make all of those percentages, and I'm going to make all of this gray. They're just copies of things for reference. So then here it's going to be opening balance times the percent times the interest rate. Then the arranging fee is going to be if this equals 1, then we're the fixed arranging fee, which is $F41. Otherwise, we are, otherwise, hang on, I'll come back to you. And I'm just going to make this red because I'm not copying that across. You could wrap it in an if period equals 1 and do it the whole way across, but whatever, it seems overwrought. So for a couple of these things, we need the max facility size. Now, this is where it's going to get circular, and just I've mentioned before my general loathing of circular references, but if you're going to do them, break circularity. Have an option in here to break the circularity. I'll just make it a true false. I'll start off with false, and I'll start off with true. And then we'll say if we're breaking the circularity, then just make this whatever, 100 million. Otherwise, make it the max of this range here, which are the closing balances. Don't like it adding in the sheet name, so I'll take that out again and close bracket. Okay. So now it's going to be that or this times this. And then this is going to be the facility size minus the opening balance. So that's your undrawn balance times the interest rate times the percent of the year. Oh, sorry. Here, I'm going to multiply that by 1,000,000 because that's in millions. Okay, that all seems to be working now. So now I guess we just need to turn our circularity on. So first, let's just go over here, enable iterative calculations. Okay. Break circularity, false. And now this is sizing according to that. Good. This is still just a placeholder, but that's fine. So now our operating cash flow minus the sum of all the debt-related charges. So that's what needs to be financed. Then let's see, we're going to say if this is less than 0, then it's going to be this minus this. If it's greater than 0, then it's going to be minus the smaller of that. So you can't pay back more than all the debt you have, so minus the smaller of that and your opening balance. I think that's the right idea. And then equity for now, we'll just start off as this times 10 to the 6, and then we'll play around with that later, I guess. Okay, I have the sign wrong there. So actually, no, let's just make this. Okay. So then let's link this up here. Sorry. Sign backward. Okay. That looks good. Something doesn't look right. I was expecting to have paid off the debt by that point. What's going on here? Okay, so my cash flow has turned positive at some point. Good. So why is this still negative? Oh, I'm mixing up my signs, that's why. Pick one sign convention and stick with it. That's better. Somewhat better anyway. Okay. Good. So now we have that nets out to 0. Now we just have to assign the rest of the cash flow to equity. So let's drop that. So then we're going to say plus whatever is left over. So that minus that. Oops. Plus, oops, this minus this. If this is greater than 0, then that, so that we don't make it circular. Otherwise 0. And then, let's see, over here, yes, we start paying out dividends to shareholders, and that's good. Okay, then we want our equity IRR, which I think we're supposed to calculate with XIRR, so values, dates, everything's at the end of the quarter, because everything's always at the end of the quarter in simple financial modelsville. Okay, so I think that we're ready to start answering questions now. So let's take a look. Okay, total construction cost for all houses produced in March 2019. Sorry, I forgot my Q&A tab. I think we got 10 questions from 31. Yeah, keep making that same mistake, 2 commas. Okay, total construction cost March 2019. March 2019 is over here. I need the sum of those. Okay, 42395, which is B. Cool. So do link, hardcode, and option. Okay. Total operating cash flow. $72110, and that's A. Okay, question 33. Under the fixed arranging fee, total debt drawdown in June 2017. Oops. And let's see, are we using the fixed arranging fee right now? We are, but also we're not supposed to have the commitment fee turned on yet. So link to there, but don't do it yet. So commitment fee, we're going to zero that out. Okay, so 16,745, 205, good, that's I. And you'll see as we change the other assumptions later, this value will change. That's why I'm putting in the hard code. And I guess I'll just mark note fee equals 0. Fixed fee. Okay, using the variable arranging fee, what's the total arranging fee? Okay, so now we'll make this variable. And that is 472,291, which is there, and it's H. Good. Happy days. 35. Commitment fee is introduced. What's the total size of the debt facility? Now we have the variable arrangement fee. And the total size of the debt facility is this guy, 241,794,920. 794,920, yes, which is E. Oops. Okay, 36. What is the IRR earned on the project? 16.7%. Which is B. Good, happy days. If the bank interest rate was 6.5%, so equal to 6.5%. Still linking to the same cell. Now it's 18.5, and that's also B. Good. Okay. The alternative equity drawdown approaches you. Okay, so I haven't actually modeled that yet, so let's do that now. So here. So I guess the equity drawdown only happens when we're in negative cash flow land, so we can combine that, and then we'll make it if this lock equals 1, then it's that. Otherwise, what are we saying? Otherwise, we're saying we draw 20% times the total to fund, which is that guy. So I'm only doing it in one cell for now, because that's going to cause some things to go wrong when I copy it across, but that's fine. So we get 22 million, then another 5, then another 5, then another 5, another 5, another 6, another 5, and then nothing for a while, and then we get our dividends paid back just like before. Good. So the problem now is that we're drawing more than 40 million. We're drawing 55. And so this is supposed to be a different timing, but not a different total amount drawn. So what we need to do is limit this. So that is here. So we need to say the minimum of, sorry, this is a negative number. So we're going to say the maximum of that, which is your whatever, minus 22, and so we've got to sum everything that's gone before. Now I've got to stop and think about my signs. So the sum of everything that's gone before is going to be negative. So it's going to be the 40 million, which we take from the original schedule, because there's not a separate cell with the 40. So sum of that times 10 to the 6. So it's going to be minus that, minus the other. I think. Let's see if that works. So that stays the same, that stays the same, stays the same, stays the same. And now we're up to 38, so this should limit, and it does. Then we carry across, and we're good. Okay. So now we got to answer the question. First, we got to put the interest rate back. And we're on equity mode 2. That's good. So I think we're now right. So equity draw type 2. Back to 7%. And finally, what's the question? What's the undrawn amount at the end of December 2017? So that's going to be so it's actually just the number in this cell, but in theory it should be 40 million minus whatever you've drawn already. So just, for example, you might potentially, like conceivably in this scenario, not have drawn all the equity. So the undrawn amount would be more than just what's left. So it's the 40 million plus the 4/4 of negative. In other words, subtracting off whatever's drawn, and that gives you your 1175387. Okay. And 117, yeah, it's supposed to be there. Good. Okay, total size of the debt facility is this guy. And finally, considering setting their IRR to 12%, which will increase the price that can be paid to the council for the land, what land purchase price will achieve an equity IRR of 12%? Okay, so I'm just going to take this, link it over here so that I can do goal seek. I'm not totally sure goal seek will work with circular calculations on, but sorry, no, not that one, set this one to 12% by changing this one. Whoa, you didn't like that? Okay. What's going on? I know there are circular references. I have spotted that. Thank you. Okay. So I guess the answer is that it does not want to goal seek like that. So, okay. Well, higher cost will lower the IRR. So let's try 90 million. Too high. Let's try 85. Okay, a little higher. Let's try 86. And let's see. Yeah, we need this to the nearest $100,000. So this should convert pretty quickly. So 85.5. A little lower, 85.3, pretty close, 85.2. Okay, so it's between 85.2 and 85.3, so let's just do 85.25. Gets you to 12.2, 85.27. Okay, so the answer is going to be 85.3. Manually find land cost. Okay, and then I guess I'll just leave that back at 80 so that at least some parts of the model work, and what I leave you behind. So first let's check the answers, and then one quick cautionary note, and then I will let you go. So we should have BAIHEBB, BAIHEBB, we do, 1175387, yes, 241449527, 2414495, yes, and 85.3, good. So that's the check, and then the cautionary tale. It's just why do we need the circular break. So in my first failed attempt at this, wasn't what killed the model, but in my first failed attempt at this, at some point I typed something like 85,0, just a little typo. Oops, it's text. Boom, whole model gets broken. I don't know why it's not breaking more actually. Okay, there we go, just because I hadn't calculated enough. So then that flows through the whole model. And now I hit undo, it's back to being a number. I recalculate, and now my operating cash flow is working fine, but the error has moved into the bit of the model that is circular, and so the error stays in there and just keeps being passed around the circle. So that's why we need to break the circularity, which that does, and then hopefully when we change it back to false, now the model is working again. But you can just imagine if you hand a model like this over to a client and they type in 85,0, oh, oops, let it recalculate. Oh, oops, I made a mistake. Hang on, hit undo. What the heck's going wrong? Your model is broken. This is an emergency. So that's why if you must have circularities, which you mustn't, just trust me on that, find a way around it. But if you must, then do it with a circularity break so that you can get around that. That's what I got for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.